I'm sure you heard she dumped me last week.
Yeah, well.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Do You Accept This Rose? I'm Bailey, this is Sarah. We have a guest, Lily.
Hi everybody.
You may remember her from last season's finale.
So
You're just the finale person.
I know, I guess I'm the finale guest star. I'm happy to be back.
Okay, so we have 4 episodes. We're gonna try to just like really power through the first like 3 because it's like at this point
who cares?
we really did in the moment, but like now not so much.
Last week was basically just hometown week. It was split into 2 episodes, but that's... Oh, it was also Men Tell All, and we don't care about that. Lily cares
No, but
about
the first episode wasn't like hometowns, it was figuring out who was going to hometowns.
Oh!
Our boy Riley went home.
I was very emotional.
But before that, she sends Blake home.
That was a long time coming.
She like emotionally sobbed over sending him home, which no one was
surprising.
expecting. Because we
Yeah.
all were like, wait, you guys are like each other? But I think it was just like at that point it was hitting her like, hey, this is getting serious.
Yeah.
Like I have to actually start sending like people home that like aren't just like easy send home people.
Yeah. And then, like, the reality of that situation is what made her realize, oh, I also should probably send Riley home.
I thought they had a real connection after he kind of shared a lot about his life and he put a lot on the line and he had said, like, about his whole family situation. I was like, wow, they're really connecting. And then she was like, just kidding, you're also leaving. And he handled it like a gentleman, I feel like. Even at the Men Tell All, he was very, like, he had the one-on-one talk with her, and he was just like, this means a lot to me that we can do this together.
Sarah, like we do.
Take it away.
I liked the Men Tell All.
Like,
I thought it was pretty good.
I feel
Just with them two.
I feel like it's always just like a whole cluster of them just like yelling at
Stresses
one
me
another.
out.
And I'm just like, no.
It was a lot of that, but at the end, her and Riley kind of had
So
like
it was sweet.
a moment.
Their, like, conclusion was nice.
Yeah, it was good. They like sat next to each other, they had a good hug. It was good.
Okay.
I felt better about it after that, but I still feel bad for him.
I'm sorry, it's still more difficult than what I thought.
Can I give you a hug?
Riley,
Please.
why don't you come up here and join us, actually?
Yes.
He was a good guy.
He was a good guy.
He was romantic.
He was. Very smart.
Remember I said that?
Yeah.
When he danced with Claire? That's when I was like, whoa! What a man!
Wrapping up that first episode of last week, we go into hometowns knowing that it's Ivan, Brendan, Zach, and Ben are the 4 hometowns.
Correct. Yep.
Great, awesome. Moving into Tuesday's episode next week, we get right on into hometowns, starting off with Brendan. So Brendan,
And
we
his
didn't get to
turtleneck.
see him in Milford, unfortunately.
I
Unfortunately, we
was
did not.
so hyped, and then I remembered that COVID was a thing, and I was like, he's gonna go to Milford, like, I know where that is,
You know.
and they were like, nope, we're going to La Quinta.
You know it's not La Quinta Inn. It's just La Quinta. We were saying
But
La
they do
Quinta
have
Inn,
an inn.
but like
Line.
that's. But
But it's
not.
funnier to say inn.
Yeah.
Should we go?
I feel like we should go.
So we gotta go to
Just
the
for the
donut
memes.
shop in Milford and La Quinta Inn. We want the El Presidente suite. Okay, so Brendan has his hometown date. It's like a little like carnival, which honestly, if you're from Massachusetts, which like everyone but Sarah's grandmother, shout out, is from Massachusetts.
She is from Massachusetts.
But like she doesn't live here
No.
now, so like it's fine. He was like, it's known for carnivals, and I'm like,
I was like, when has there ever been a carnival in
So you
Milford?
talking about Pumpkin Fest?
And I was like, the Bolton Fair, maybe? Like, I don't know. But I was...
That's all we had.
anyway,
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
wouldn't be a takeaway from like if I had a hometown date in Hudson, I'd be like, you know what? Let's go get some rail trail. Let's
We're gonna go
go.
to Main Street Bagel. We're gonna
Let's
get
walk
some-
around Gates Pond.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's
Here's an iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts
Yep.
that is watery or burnt.
Yep.
let's go Coney.
Or wrong. Or completely incorrect.
Okay, so anyway, so he brings his niece. There was like great not tension.
Whoa!
Great chemistry with everyone.
Very cute.
Nothing really noteworthy happened at the like the nighttime portion of it with the rest of his family.
I feel like it hit home with him for hometowns. Like when he started getting nervous about like them, like him and Tayshia really going further, like marriage and engagement. I feel like once his family met her, I feel like he was like, wow, this is getting. You could
Yeah,
see him
real.
like being nervous, especially because he's been divorced before. And I was
Yeah.
just like, you can see the nerves kind of come out.
So we loved him. Well,
Yeah,
at least
I thought it
the
went
answer
like
did.
really well. And then we move on to Zach, who brought his parents and brother. But before that, he shows her a day in New York, which I thought was really cute.
Oh, I thought that was the cutest little.
That was
It
the best
creative.
one.
So he like obviously they couldn't go to New York, but they did like a bagel shop. They did pizza. He brought her around it like she had to hail a cardboard taxi.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes!
So it was just like cute.
And then the fountain.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
So it was like,
They like started like making out in the fountain, but I think it was because on every single date you'll notice they were all like profusely sweating. It was like over
every
100.
single date.
So I don't know why they thought like going to Palm Springs in the middle of the summer was like the move because
Yeah,
it's like
it's not.
over 100 degrees there like every day with
Mhm.
beating sun. So I think like the reason they jumped into the fountain is because they
They
were
were
both
so
so
hot.
hot that he was like
That
I'm
makes a lot more sense. I
I'm
didn't really think about that.
gonna be sweating profusely otherwise.
She never really sweat.
I
Or the
feel like-
team was only like dabbing her up and they were like,
Oh,
But at
that
one point
too,
I did
sure.
see her
Not the
back
guys.
sweat.
celebrities are just like us.
His brother, he pulled a Bachelor move. He was like, Tayshia, can I grab you? I was like,
Yeah, I
She
thought
was
it was
like, nice to meet
intimidating.
you. It's so nice to see you. And he was like, Tayshia, can we just step outside for a second? And I was like, whoa.
His parents were really old.
Well, I mean, he's older.
Not like
No,
They were old.
But he's older.
Yeah, he's like 36.
36,
Yeah.
which is
And his brother looked older than him.
yeah.
I couldn't tell if he was an older or younger brother, but he came on like very, very strong. I would have been very intimidated
And
if I
he
was
was
meeting
like-
somebody's brother like that.
How does he compare to the other guys? Which like I know you want that answer.
It's a valid
She
question.
cannot answer that though. On like she can't answer that.
And then
No.
she didn't answer it, and he
And
was
he-
like, "But you didn't answer the question." She was like,
And she's like, you're right, but I'm still not gonna do it.
She was like, "You're so funny."
and she just had smiling. She's like, and I was just like, "Oh boy."
His family was so cute, and then like Chris Harrison came in and like surprised his mom.
She really bonded with his mom. I feel like they had a really good connection, and he didn't come around to kids, like
Yeah.
having kids. And I feel like once she met his family is when he came around.
Well, he was like, I
Having
didn't.
children.
She said, "Oh, Zach, you said you want kids," and he was like, "I never imagined it." Like,
until
but
I
now,
met her,
until I
which
met
was
her.
cute. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
that was a big turning point for them.
Okay, so then Ivan comes around. They like cook, which was so cute. It was
They
cute.
were cooking and it was so hot
I know.
in there. He was like dripping in whatever they were making. I would have been like, no, we're gonna order
That's what I
pizza.
said. I was like, imagine how much sweat is in the bowl that they're like.
Ooh.
stirring.
But they were inside. They should have had AC pumping.
They should. I mean, I bet La Quinta Inn has great AC.
They made these like egg rolls or something, and they didn't look good.
gross.
I literally couldn't tell you what they made.
And they go to the nighttime portion, and it was just like
His parents.
his parents, and he was just like, I really wish you could meet my brother, like so badly. Also, his parents were so charming.
His mom, though, was very
Yeah.
skeptical. She came out like hot, like guns blazing. She was like, I'm a big skeptic of this whole thing, which I get. I feel like Ivan's so shy. Like, you know what I mean? He's an engineer. Like, I just don't picture him being on a show like that. And
But
I feel
also,
like he's
like-
out of his comfort zone.
Typically, it's like all parents are like, this is really sketchy.
Oh, 100%, because it is. Imagine if you
Yeah.
had a child and they were going to, like, hang out with that many people.
Yeah, and they're
It's
like,
weird.
yeah.
I don't think my mom would let me be on that show.
But then they surprise him with his brother, which was so cute.
I liked how Tayshia noticed before he did, so
And
she was
she
like,
was
"Look."
crying.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
she like
really
turned his
sweet.
chin to
Yeah.
like look.
It was sweet. Very nice guy, though. Like, when he was talking to Tayshia and, like, you could see how happy he was.
He was
to
very,
his
like,
family and
insightful.
Ivan. Yeah, and he was like, I can see the chemistry between you two. And I was like, make him the next Bachelor.
That's
Get Matt out of here. Bring him in.
I still don't know his name, but that's
Gabe.
fine. What was it?
Gabe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Do you
think
even
that.
watch the show?
No. And then we move on to Ben, who like I kind of zoned out during this like
Oh,
thing.
so he brought his sister, which makes sense. Most important person in the world to him, and
Their
his like
relationship's cute.
his family friend.
She was on, so when I saw the preview,
She's like
she was on Top
famous.
Chef. I watched her season on Top Chef. She's like a big chef in California. Like she's done like a couple seasons. Like she came back
Yeah.
for Top Chef All Stars and like
Yeah.
guest stars a bunch of times. So I recognized her and I was like, what is going on?
The reason their family didn't come because of COVID, and they would have had
His
to like
dad was a doctor.
Yeah.
yeah okay.
Yeah, and then I think I don't know what
Brendan. I think
mom.
Brendan's family maybe it was like they
COVID.
couldn't
Yeah, there was
quarantine.
some, yeah.
It would have been helpful probably if Tayshia was able to meet Ben's parents, because I feel like he was so closed off. I think that it would have been very helpful for him if she could have met his
To
parents.
feel more comfortable and like
Yeah, and be like,
yeah.
why is your son this way?
Right.
Or-
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That would have.
But at the end of it, he tells was it his sister or the friend?
I think
The friend, but he didn't even tell her. She like told him.
You know, love is like a scary word.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's just like once you say it, it can't be unsaid. And like once you give that to somebody and they give it back to you, then like,
You love her.
I don't know.
You love her. It's not even a question.
I'm in love with her.
I know.
That's
I
wild.
sat down. I was just like, you love her. Like, what are you talking about?
I thought that was a pretty cool moment. I was like, wow,
I didn't.
I really like him, but it's okay.
He was gonna tell her that he loved her, and then he was like chickened out, right? So then he leaves. They go to the rose ceremony, so they don't have cocktail parties after like a certain point. So there's no cocktail party. She ends up sending Ben home, and Ben in the car is like so he just like gets stiff, right? So she's like, Ben, can I walk you out? And he's like, sure. And he wasn't like, oh my god. He was just like, all right, like straight face, no emotions. She kind of was like, all right, I made the right move by sending him home because like he literally doesn't care about me.
I thought that was a terrible comment on her part, considering how much he shared about like his suicide attempt and like his life. He literally was so stunned, and she was like, I just don't think, like, cry for me. Like, why isn't he, like, upset about it? I'm like, some people don't show emotion that way. Like, clearly he was so stunned that he couldn't say anything.
But I think that's a
person's
good
gonna cry.
representative of like how little you actually know the person.
I disagree.
They've only been on a couple dates. If she like was just him, maybe, but like they probably only talk about that heavy hitting stuff for like 5 minutes, and then they're like, all right.
But I also feel like if somebody was sobbing after knowing me for 4 weeks, how long are they there? How long have they been there for?
If you're saying like you're in love with someone
I don't know.
and you're just like stiff
But if
faced.
somebody was literally like, oh,
I know, but he didn't
like
she
melt
literally
crying.
she had to like get him to look at her.
I think he was so stunned and like saddened, but I mean,
Yeah, no, he definitely was, but whatever. I
It
don't
is what
really
it
like
is.
him.
I just don't like it.
I just-
and that's how it goes.
So he goes home. Awesome, great. We're excited about that.
Not excited about
So then it's Brendan,
Ivan
Zach, and
Zach.
Ivan,
Yes.
yeah. And they go into the next week, which was Fantasy Suites,
Fantasy
which was
Suites.
this week, Monday.
Yes. So now we're like caught up to this week.
Yes.
Yes. It would be. So Fantasy Suites, it starts off with Ivan going on a fantasy suite.
The order of the dates was very crucial, I feel.
If I was in this situation, I would want to go first. If you go middle or last,
Oh.
you know that she's already done some stuff with the other people in front of you.
But if you're last, you make a, like, you're the last thing she remembers.
Last impression.
2
Do they
days.
do days in between?
No.
It's like the next
That's
day.
nasty.
That's what I'm
She must be
saying. That's why
exhausted,
I
too.
want to go first. Okay, so Ivan goes first. They go into the date and they basically have to sit, because it's so hot out, they have to sit in these ice buckets for, I think, and do like the longest, coldest kiss.
Is that a real record?
I'm not sure.
It was like
Sounds
6
stupid.
minutes and
No, the thing was only
5:30.
five, whatever,
Like that,
yeah. So they just sit in this bucket and like they couldn't move their lips, right? So like I was crying laughing because I thought they were gonna like make out whatever. They
I thought that's what they were gonna do too. They did.
How did
it
they
like this.
breathe? Like nostrils?
Yeah,
They
they
were
like, they were like,
But that's what she made it into. She was like, our breathing started syncing
Yeah.
up, and I was just like, I would have laughed.
Also hated the cameras that were placed crotch level in both of their
Yeah.
baths that they kept showing
yeah,
us.
I'm like, what are they trying to show us here? So they beat the record,
For
awesome.
a
And then they
minute
stayed in
later.
there for a minute longer. And I'm like, why would you do that? Whatever,
Yeah.
that happened. That date happened, awesome. He kind of got screwed over because I would be like, I'm not doing that. But like, you can't do that because you got to be willing to do everything.
Gets even more screwed over
So
when
then
she's
they
like,
go to the nighttime portion,
Yes.
right? And like they always, it weirds me out when they do this. They always have to be like, so I got something for you. It's like an
cute.
envelope that says like, should you forgo
Should
your
your
individual
individual rooms.
rooms,
Yeah.
whatever. So anyway, so he's like, yeah. And they go to this like Airstream. And that's what it's called. Like,
Yeah,
Is that
the
what it's
big, the
called?
big metal thing.
Yeah.
I just saw
Oh.
a trailer.
Yeah.
But Air
Oh.
she was like,
And they sit in like lawn chairs in front of this Airstream, and I'm like, this is not it for me.
It was really cute for like if you were like already dating and like wanted to plan like a getaway.
A getaway, but like if this is your first night together, I think you'd want like a...
The bed was small and cramped, and
the
he
whole
could
thing
barely
was-
stand up.
Yeah, I don't know. And they definitely talked the entire time. From what it sounded like, I don't think anything happened. I think they
were big talkers.
I think they literally talked the entire time.
I mean, a lot of what people say that happens in the fantasy suites, they're like, it's literally the best time to talk because you can have
Oh, yeah, 'cause there's no
conversations about
cameras
stuff
and
with no
everything.
cameras.
Yeah.
This is like so sketchy for me because he goes back and all the like Brendan and Zach are like sitting there and they're like, what's up? They were like, how was it? And Ivan's like, good. But it's like they all know that he just spent the night with their
They
girlfriend.
don't want to ever like talk about it.
So it's just like awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, so next date is Zach. They have like a blank canvas and they had to like body paint onto this canvas. So they paint this thing and then like it's getting hot and heavy and I'm like, oh my gosh.
There was a lot of making out.
Yeah.
And
That
she
was,
literally
like-
was like, "Are you good?" Because at one point he like was like,
So they go to the fantasy suite and they get like a nice room.
like a
Yeah.
whole like building.
And,
It was
like,
a shit,
Sweet. Like,
Yeah.
it was very nice.
Huge, yeah. So like obviously some stuff goes down.
Oh, they love each other. He
Very
says,
much.
Yeah.
"I love you." Like, not I'm falling in love. He loves her, and she's like, "I love you too."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without even thinking.
And I was like, game over.
Yep.
That's when I knew I was like, he has to win.
You know, Tayshia, I know that I love you. I love your smile, your strength, I love how you treat other people. I just love the human being that you are. Like, I just see it. And I think it's important for you to know that. So.
Oh no, it's just wild. Because I love you too, and it's only because I've like known that I love you though. That's the thing. It's like I don't think I've ever felt this way before.
I don't think I have.
He goes home the next morning, still super awkward, because like then it's Brendan's
That
turn
one was
to go.
much more awkward because Brendan was so nervous. He literally was just like,
Yeah. So
Like,
then
looking
Brendan goes on
down.
his date,
Ugh.
and he gets screwed over on this
Yeah,
date.
hard.
I think
Core
the Bachelor
screwed
producers
over.
just like see people's weaknesses, what they do,
Which
and
is-
they're just like pull them out, right?
it's Brendan. Brendan's weakness is engagement, like proposing and getting married again.
So
He's been
Brendan's
married
already
before.
he's
So they
married
really
before.
were like, we're gonna stick it to you on this one.
So
let's go pick out engagement.
Yes,
rings.
they have Neil Lane come, and Brendan has no clue who Neil Lane is.
He
Like,
scares me.
so they go and pick out like they're looking at like wedding bands for like him and her, and it's like you can obviously tell that he's like really sketched out during
He
this experience.
Doesn't say like
Like
a
any-
single word.
But I don't know if they just like edit that out, which
Oh,
is like
probably.
it probably is them just editing out him talking.
But
But
he
like the
was-
way they edited it was like him dead silent
and just
Tayshia
staring at the ring.
and Tayshia being like, "This is so pretty, I love this," and like he's like,
Doesn't say anything.
and I'm like, "Oh no, this is not going to be good."
And he was last, and I just feel like that's gotta be really hard.
And then they like sit down with Neil Lane, and it just was like awkward, right?
The
So that
whole
was
thing
like their
was-
day portion. So
Yeah.
you kind of go into the night portion being like weird vibes, and like Tayshia was picking up that there were weird vibes.
100%.
So then they get to the night portion, and he's kind of like, yeah, no, like I can't do this. I thought I was ready for marriage, but like seeing those engagement rings like made it real that like I actually like am not completely over my divorce.
Good for
Like
him.
he's over her, but not like he was like, I can't give you my whole heart if my heart's broken right now, you
Which
know?
was brave of him.
All I want is to give you my whole heart. But as I sit here today, my heart isn't whole.
To make it that far and to get to that point is unfortunate, but like you gotta do what you gotta
I
do.
think he got a lot of backlash that he had made it that like that
He
he
did.
went that far and like didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
But
that's
those
kinda-
feelings don't develop until
You don't
like
know.
the later weeks. And when you look at engagement rings, like who couldn't have those feelings? Like come
you don't
back up?
know until it's like brought out of you
Right.
to know, you know? Like
I think he handled it really well.
she was also like, okay, like I really like I respect you for saying that now instead
Right.
of like
Down the road when
Yeah.
they do get engaged or
Yeah,
supposed to
exactly.
get married, yeah.
so he like self-sends himself home. Self-sends
In his turtlenecks.
Yeah, so he goes, and then she goes home. She gets a knock at her door, and it's Ben.
Clearly, it doesn't matter if you get sent home on this season.
No.
Like, clearly, if you get sent home, they're just like, yeah, no, I'm not ready yet. I gotta say a couple more things.
And he's like, I hate how things ended. I love you. And she's like, whoa, give me a second.
So, like, you can come to the rose ceremony tonight. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no.
I just think if you go home, go home.
Stay home.
I was happy to see him, but I'm just like, this is not going to do anything for you.
Like, there's a...
Like, it really, like, it's been, she cut ties with you. You didn't say what you had to say. That is on you. I liked him a lot, but I was like, if you're going to be on the show, you got to lay it all out on the line.
My
He
thing is-
didn't, and that's what sent him home. So
My
stay
thing
home.
is, too, it's like, if you are sending someone home once, like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, they're not going to change. They go to the rose ceremony, and it's Ben, Ivan, and Zach.
So if he hadn't come back, no one would have gone home, right?
Yeah, it would have just
would've
been...
Ivan and Zach.
Yeah. She's, like, about to give out a rose, and then she's like, Ivan, can I speak to you real quick? And I'm like, oh, no.
Out of left field.
She's like, well, like, we disagree about, like, religion.
And I was just like, where did that come from? I feel like Ben came back, got her all flustered, and she was like,
She needed an excuse.
I need to just, like, whatever we were talking about, let's find the smallest thing. She's never mentioned religion once, which I get, like, you don't talk about on TV, I guess, but, like, that's something that's
Which I
that
don't get
important
why.
to you, to
Why
send
do we-
somebody home.
Why do
don't
we
you
not talk about religion at this point? Like, we're talking about everything
Right.
else. Like, religion is also a
You're
big
down
topic.
to the final three, and now all of a sudden religion's a really big topic.
We have no context to this at all. We
None.
just watch a fan favorite get sent home
And
over
she's
her
like,
being like,
by the way, we don't agree on religion. See you later.
she didn't seem sad at all.
But then
No,
he
it
also
was just like,
boom.
But then he
Done.
also was like, I get it.
I think she was more religious than he was. I think
I do
that
too.
was.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So
So
that
then,
happens.
so then we move into the final week. So final week is like two people. They typically, that's when they meet her family. So first to meet her family is Zach.
Ben.
No, Ben.
First to meet her family is Ben. So she's like, let me tell you about Ben real quick. She gives her family like a brief thing before they come in. She was like, I actually sent him home and now he's back. And they're like, why is this guy back? You
Her
know?
dad was like, I think it concerns me that he came back after you sent him home. That speaks to his character. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like respect.
Yeah, and like that's scary to do. Like you don't want to go somewhere that you've been kicked out of. That's kind of scary. And he fully went in and said everything he needed to say. I was like, wow.
Were you
Oh,
saying,
wait.
you guys were, you
you're
guys
saying
were,
something else.
I was watching this happen. You are happy he came back. You're thinking that the dad saying him coming back speaks to his character in a good way.
That's what I thought.
She's saying it speaks to his character in a bad way.
I think that his dad was concerned, saying, why did he come back?
I was thinking of
like,
it as,
why couldn't he have just said it in the first place?
which is a
Yeah,
good point.
like,
Yeah.
I thought
Okay,
he was
yeah,
saying
you guys were on opposite. Okay, so anyway, so they like go over that, and Ben's basically like, I came back because I like really needed to say that I loved her, and like I chickened out, whatever. And then I think like her parents were kind of like, all right, you're not an awful
He
guy.
had a good
like,
talk with Tayshia's dad. I feel like they really. I feel like he laid it all out on the table, and you know, did a good job when it came
Yeah.
to talking to her dad. I thought that went pretty well.
And then Zach comes out, and Zach like has the most magical moments.
This is when I still didn't really love him up until this point. I feel like this was the turning point where I was like, whoa.
I don't know if it's like he has a way with words
I think
or
he
like what
does.
it is, but like he literally comes in, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and then he talks to her dad.
And praised his parenting with Tayshia, and I was like, wow.
He
that's a
was
good-
just like, you
a good
have
call.
come up in a lot of conversations, and like that doesn't scare me that you're here. Like it makes me want to be a better person.
Yeah.
When all this goes away, you know, and it's just me and her, life is not always easy. Supporting each other through these tough times is actually what I look forward to.
Like this is what a dad would want to hear.
You nailed it.
Especially like
Especially like a military dad. Too.
yeah,
I was
and
like,
knowing
yeah.
that she's so close with him, like
Yeah.
he really needed to win.
The conversation with, I don't know if I'm skipping ahead, but with Tayshia and her dad.
Yeah,
When her-
you're skipping ahead.
Sorry.
That goes great, awesome. Then we go to the
She goes on a date with Zach.
no.
What?
No. After they both meet her parents, she gets a knock on the door, right? And it's her dad.
So you weren't
Does that
serving
not
it.
work?
You had to transition into it. Transition.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, you could go. So her dad comes back
I can
and
continue.
yeah.
That was a weird conversation.
I didn't know what he was trying to say.
I feel like it went around in circles. I don't want you to make the biggest decision of your life, and that was like it.
The vibe I got was like, he met the two guys and was like, I don't vibe with either one of
That's
them.
what I thought.
That's the vibe I got. I want you to remember the heartbreak you went through, like, with your husband. Things to note, she's in
The denim outfit.
And she's in the same outfit that she has the conversation with her dad in.
Yes.
That when she sends Ben home. A
Sent
lot of
Ben
people are
home.
thinking they're editing things to make it look like she goes on a date with Zach and then realizes he's the one. No, like, I'm thinking that, like, her dad came, she had this conversation. She's not going to wear the same dress twice. That's not a mistake.
No, it was 100% the same.
Oh my god, because my
She
mom
sent Ben
even
home.
said she was like she wore the same dress.
Yeah. So after this conversation with her dad, then, she goes on a date with Zach, and they end up, like, doing
A dance class.
a dance class. But you can tell she's kind of, like, not in it.
She was
being snippy with him.
She was like in her head because I think she's like, oh my gosh, my dad like doesn't like one of these guys. Like, what am I supposed to do? And then they go to the nighttime portion. I feel like the nighttime portion always like you like either chillax or it's like, all right, I'm sending you.
Do
home
they
kind of thing.
ever eat?
No. And they end up like talking and they have like a great conversation.
What is it called when you're like is it like projecting? Like when she was like, you love me now, but in 5 years, like, what if I'm not the independent woman anymore and I want to
rambling.
Yeah, she was like, what if I want to be a stay-at-home mom and then you get really mad at me about that? Like, just fully projecting.
Really was just like,
he was like, whoa, where is this coming from?
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'll love you if you're a waitress.
Right.
Or I love you.
Yeah. That was cute.
So that happens. It ends on a really awesome note. She's supposed to then go to her date with Ben the next day. And she shows up to Ben's place and is basically like, it's not you.
I saw it going differently, but like when you love somebody, you want them to be happy. Someday.
So now it's just Zach.
And he doesn't know it's just him.
No. So he goes out, he picks a ring for himself. Then we like flash forward to like day of proposal. Tayshia kind of has a moment when she steps out and she's like freaking out a little bit.
It was really cute.
What, even want to get married?
So I thought
you guys are not on the same page right now because Sarah was like, I go, she's freaking out. And Sarah's like, do I even want to get married? And you're like, no.
Because I thought that's how she was like gonna sit, like, I don't know if I want to get married. And she was like, I'm so excited.
She did turn it around.
And I was like, oh.
She was very confused.
I was with you. I was like, I don't know what she's crying about. Like, is she? And then she said, I'm really excited. I was like, that's how, like, they're meant to be
And
together.
she was like, I'm starting to think I didn't even know what love was.
Right, and I was like,
anyway, so Zach walks out. It's really cute, and then he says this whole spiel. Because typically, what happens is the guy says the spiel, then the girl, if it's bachelorette, then the girl will be like either yes, like I'm giving you permission to propose to me, or like no, you're not the one.
And if you let me, I'm gonna choose you right now. I'm gonna choose you tomorrow morning. I'm gonna choose you next week. And next year, I'm gonna choose you forever.
And then she responds, and she was like, says this whatever, and then she goes, but, and then pauses for this long period of time.
Because she said, I know I told you I loved you, but.
I know that I told you that I love you. But. Sorry. It's more than that.
You little stinker. I was like, that's not my heart rate. Once he was the last one and she
You
had
kind of
like,
get a root for him. You're like,
oh,
okay.
100%, because you can tell how much they both are in love with each other.
So
And that's
in the
goal.
podcast
So-
I was listening to, she's like, I didn't even realize I said but. She was like, I kind of blacked out. And he gets down on one knee and he proposes and it's really cute. And then they both start like cheering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cute.
And then to end it, they go away in that little taxi cab that they had in hometowns, and that was really cute.
Yeah, I liked that. They definitely were meant to be together by like the last 2 episodes. I was like, you can see the
Yeah.
connection between
So, like,
the 2 of them.
Long term, I hope they last. Right now they're trying to do like bi-coastal, where like she's always wanted to live in New York, and she was saying like last year she was like on New Year's Eve, she was like, this is gonna be my last single New Year's Eve. Like she just had a feeling about it. So she went to Miami with her friends and like partied it up. And then like she was supposed to move to New York like last November, and it didn't end up working out. So it's like all these things she was kind of like manifesting are like happening. Like she is not going to be single. She's going to be moving to New York. Like
She's spending Christmas with him in New York, and he was like, we haven't booked a
she doesn't have a return
flight
flight yet. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, so I hope I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for them more than Claire and Dale.
I think
Oh,
anyone
yeah.
in the world is.
I'm really rooting for them. And as someone who's seen 3 seasons of The Bachelor, I will say that was the best proposal ever.
Oh,
Agreed.
everyone,
I've only seen 3
everyone said
episodes.
it was cute.
I'm interested to see where it goes. I don't.
Yeah.
I hope that they last because you can see their connection. I just don't think it will. I think the first year is going to be very telling to see how long it goes.
Like,
I think he's going to be very heartbroken.
I'd like to know like when that proposal happened, like what month.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
I mean, not
off.
that long ago.
But yeah, so that's the end of this season. We got another season coming up
Quick,
January.
Super
very
soon.
January
turnaround.
4th. Right.
All
Thanks
right,
for listening.
happy holidays. All right.
I'm tired. That was exhausting.